Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. Today I'm going to recap the games from last night in the NBA, the NHL, college basketball, and we will look ahead to tonight's games in each sport, Olympics too. We will go over the tee times and the and my pick for the Genesis Open. What's going to be underway by the time we get going a little bit here on the show. News and notes, NFL power rankings, and best bet. But we're going to change it up a little bit only because, as of my latest point I just said. So we're actually going to start with golf today, amazingly enough, just so we can get the tee times out of the way. So at 9:40 coming up shortly of Doug Gim, Alex Loren, Danny Lee, Keegan Bradley, Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm just going to go through notables. 9:51, Henrik Norlander, Matthew Naismith, Vincent Willey, Scott Stallings, Adam Hadlin, Emiliano Grillo. 10:02, Henry Higgs, Nate Waitney, Jonathan Vegas, Adam Putnam. 10:13, Seamus Power, CZ Pond, Evan Van Rooyen, Ches Vervee. 10:24, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler, Sergio Garcia, Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau. 10:35, Colin Morikwa, Xander Schauffele, Patton Kizzire, JT Potts, and Cam Champ, Sun JM. 10:46, Sam Burns, Justin Thomas, Adam Landry, Luke List, Jason Kokrak, Cam Smith. 10:57, Joel Dahman, Bubba Watson, Kevin Na, Mark Leishman, Matt Jones. 11:08, Harold Varner III, JJ Spawn, Maverick McNeely, James Hahn. 11:19, Doc Redmond, Aaron Weiss, Sam Ryder, Cam Triangle, Chasen Hadley. 2:15, Matt Wallace, Adam Schenk, Taylor Moore, Charlie Hoffman, Russell Knox, Brock Stewart. 2:26, Mito Pereira, Keith Hickok, Pat Perez. 2:37, Charles Schwartzel, Sam Piercy, Tori Merritt. 2:48, Abraham Anser, Sebastian Munoz, Taylor Hogue, Joaquin Niemans at 2:59, along with Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, Adam Long. 3:10, you have Carlos Ortiz, Max Homa, Dustin Johnson, Kang-Koo Lee. 3:21, Lucas Griffin, Ryan Palmer, Patrick Cantlay, Paul Casey, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed. 3:32, Walter Zalatoris, Siwoo Kim, Patrick Rogers, Mackenzie Hughes, Dylan Fratelli. 3:43, Sepp Straka, Kyle Stanley, Brendan Steele, Roger Sloan, Wyndham Clark. And 3:54, Christian Ziedenhout is the only real notable there. All right, I'm going to make a pick for this. And I'm going to pick somebody that I think tends to come through every so often. He's a good golfer. I believe he won a tournament last year. And I'm going to go with Colin Morikwa at 17-1 to win the Genesis Invitational. Alrighty. Now we're going to go to the Olympics, where we're going to recap everything from yesterday in Beijing and look ahead to everything going on today in Beijing. So alpine skiing, women's alpine combined slalom. Bronze going to Federica Brigioni of Italy. Silver going to Wendy Hollander of Switzerland. And the gold going to Michelle Jussin of Switzerland. The bobsleigh, the 4-man official heat training 3 and 4, and the 2-woman official training heat 5 and 6 done. Curling, men's round robin session 12. U.S. over Denmark 7-5. Switzerland over Sweden and the 8. Great Britain over Canada 5-2. Norway over Italy 9-4. Switzerland over Japan 8-4. Now we go to women's round robin with that one. Great Britain over ROC 9-4. Canada over Denmark 10-4. Sweden over Korea 8-4. And in the men's semifinals are going on right now as Sweden is up 4-3 on Canada and Great Britain is up 6-4 on the United States. Figure skating, women's single skating, free skating. The bronze going to Kaori Sakamoto of Japan. The silver going to Alexandra Trusova of ROC. And the gold going to Anna Sherbakova of ROC. Freestyle skiing. Women's ski cross big final. The bronze going to Daniela Mayer of Germany. The silver going to Marielle Thompson of Canada. And the gold going to Sandra Noslund of Sweden. And the hockey women's gold medal game. Canada over the United States 3-2 to win gold. As U.S. comes home with the silver. Nordic Combine. The team Gunderson in Large Hill 4x5 kilometer cross country. The bronze going to Japan. The silver going to Germany. And the gold going to Norway. Speed skating. Women's 1,000 meter. The bronze going to Brittany Bowe of the USA. Silver going to Jetta Leram of the Netherlands. And the gold going to Miho Takagi of Japan. All right, now we're going to look ahead to tomorrow in Beijing, which is tonight here and tomorrow morning here. So the biathlon, you have tomorrow gold medal events, the women's 12.5 kilometer mass start, and then the men's 15 kilometer mass start. And that's going to be going off at 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. And there it's going to be 3 and 5 there. And then, by the way, the 12.5 mass start for the women's were scheduled. The bobsleigh, you have the 4-man official training heat 5 and 6 and the 2-woman heat 1 and 2. Curling, you have the men's bronze medal game, which is to be determined. And then the women's semifinal between Sweden and Great Britain and Japan and Switzerland. Figure skating, we have the pair skating short program. Freestyle, we have the women's free ski half pipe final run 3 and the men's ski cross big final. And then we have the men's semifinals in hockey, Finland and Slovakia, and ROC in Sweden. And then in speed skating, we have the men's 1,000 meter gold medal event. All right, now move on to the NBA. We'll recap the games from yesterday and look ahead to tonight's games, which is the final night of games before the All-Star break. Hawks over the Magic 130-109. Pistons over the Celtics 112-111. Pacers over the Wizards 113-108. Nets come back from 28 down to beat the Knicks 111-106. I think I'm going to go on a rant about the Knicks on tomorrow's podcast, so stay tuned because I'm going to do NBA Power Rankings tomorrow, potentially. Bulls over the Kings 125-118. Trailblazers over the Grizzlies 123-119. Raptors over the Wizards 103-91. Spurs over the Thunder 114-106. Suns over the Rockets 124-121. The Nuggets over the Warriors 117-116 as Golden State blows a big lead as Denver comes back and wins. And the Lakers beat the Jazz 106-101 without Anthony Davis. All right, now we look ahead to tonight's game. 7 o'clock, we have the Heat and the Hornets from Charlotte. My projections are the Heat by 3.5, total of 221. I only did totals in the NBA tonight. And we got 4.5 and 224.5. I'll take the under. 7:30, Wizards Nets from the Barclays. That's a makeup game from December 21st. My projection is Wizards by 6.5, total 219.25. And it's Brooklyn 4.5, total 216. Wait, is Kyrie Irving playing all of a sudden in home games? Give me Washington plus 4.5, plus 166 on the money line. This is going to be a letdown for Brooklyn, who only won that game because the Knicks shit on themselves. 8 o'clock, the Mavericks and the Pelicans. I project a pick 'em in 212.35, and it's 3.5 for Dallas and 215. Give me the Pelicans getting 3.5. I think they can win outright, plus 140. Them and the Wizards as a good money line parlay is really fun. And 8:30, TNT 76ers Bucks. Let's see if Philly bounces back from that disgrace of a loss against the Celtics from the other night. The Bucks, I project as a 7 3/4 favorite, total 217.8, and it's 6.5 to 223.5. I like the under a lot. And at 10:30, if the Rockets and the Clippers, my projection is the Clippers by 15 1/4, total 220, and it's 11 and 228. This is another under I absolutely love. No Paul George, under automatic. All right, NHL. We'll recap the games from last night, and we will look ahead to the games for tonight. Jets over the Wild 6-3, Panthers over the Hurricanes 3-2 in overtime, Flames over the Ducks 6-2, and the Avs over the Golden Knights 2-0. And now tonight's games, very heavy window. 7 o'clock you have the Red Wings and the Rangers from the Garden. The Rangers -210, the Red Wings +172, over under 6, overs -106, unders -114, Red Wings +1/2 is -150, Rangers -1/2 is +122. I like the under in this game. I think there's going to be some good goaltending in this game. So it's going to be under 6. Caps Flyers. The Capitals are -182, Flyers are +150, over under 6, overs -112, unders -108. Capitals -1/2 is +142, Flyers +1/2 is -176. I'm going to say the over. I think there's going to be some goals in this game. Penguins Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs -154, Pittsburgh +128, over under 6.5, overs even money, unders -122. Pittsburgh +1/2 is -194, Leafs -1/2 is +156. I think the Maple Leafs got too much favoritism in the market, but I understand why they're favored here, because they're home, and they should be favored. I want to take Pittsburgh, but they could have a letdown after the overtime win and Crosby's 500th goal and everything. So instead of taking the Penguins to win, I do think they'll win, but the safer bet here, I like over 6.5 at even money. The Blues and the Canadiens. Blues -300, Montreal +240, over under 6.5, overs -102, unders -122. Blues -1/2 is -115, Canadiens +1/2 is -105. Montreal, what a disgrace. Marty St. Louis, you got to feel for him. I like the over in this game. I think there's going to be some goals here. Sens Sabres. Sabres -125, Ottawa +104, over under 6, overs -108, unders -112. Ottawa +1/2 is -250, Buffalo -1/2 is +198. I'm going to go Ottawa. Bad teams go with the dog. So I'm going to go with Ottawa. 7:30, Bruins Islanders. Each team's -110, over under 5.5, overs +112, unders -138. Bruins +1/2 is -290, Isles -1/2 is +225. I think that Boston should be favored. I just think this is an overreaction because of the Tuukka Rask situation. Give me the Bruins at -110. 8 o'clock NHL Network, Kraken Jets. Jets -156, Kraken +130, over under 6, -110 each way. Kraken +1/2 is -194, Jets -1/2 is +156. I'm going to go here with the over. 8:30, Blue Jackets Blackhawks. The Blackhawks -152, the Blue Jackets +126, over under 6, overs -118, unders -104. Blue Jackets +1/2 is -205, Blackhawks -1/2 is +184. I'm going to go with the Blue Jackets as a road dog here. I really like Elvis Merzlikins a lot. I think that Columbus can beat Chicago. 9 o'clock, the Ducks and the Oilers. Oilers -230, Ducks +188, over under 6.5, overs -100, or even money. Unders -122, Ducks +1/2 is -132, Edmonton -1/2 is +108. Since the coaching change, I think Edmonton's played a little bit better. And I think that the Ducks have kind of fallen off a little bit. So I'm going to go here with the over. And 10:30, the Canucks and the Sharks. Each team's -110, over under 5.5, overs +104, unders -128. Canucks -1/2 is +235, Sharks +1/2 is -300. I'm going to go with the Sharks at home, -110. Vancouver's more points than them, but Sharks are home. Vancouver's 5 back in the playoffs. San Jose's out of it. Both these teams are out of it, really. I'm going to go with the Sharks. They're home, -110. All right, college basketball. I'm going to go through the results very quickly, and we'll look ahead to the games being played tonight, which is a monster slate. Alrighty. Manhattan over Fairfield, 74-67. Colgate over Army, 100-90. SC Upstate over Presbyterian, 60-55. St. John's over Xavier, 86-73. Radford over Campbell, 71-67. Rutgers upsets number 12 Illinois, 70-59. Number 25 Alabama over Mississippi State, 80-75. Lafayette over Loyola, 77-68. B over Holy Cross, 78-65. Navy over American, 55-46. Hampton over NCA&T, 93-82. Winthrop over Gardner-Webb, 81-70. UNC Asheville over Charleston Southern, 85-66. Miami over Louisville, 70-63. Notre Dame over BC, 99-95. In overtime, so best bet lost. Vermont over New Hampshire, 71-50. UMBC over Stony Brook, 95-84. NJT over UMass Lowell, 59-55. Hartford over Maine, 75-65. Albany over Binghamton, 68-67. Jacksonville over Stetson, 67-45. Florida Gulf Coast over Kennesaw State, 82-76. St. Bonaventure over UMass, 83-71. George Mason over St. Joe, 75-70 in overtime. Furman over Western Carolina, 103-85. Mercer over East Tennessee State, 65-56. Wofford over the Citadel, 65-58. LSU over Georgia, 84-65. George Washington over Duquesne, 73-52. Stephen F. Austin over Chicago State, 88-71. Eastern Kentucky over North Alabama, 80-76 in overtime. St. Louis over LaSalle, 90-64. Marquette over Georgetown, 77-66. Utah Valley over Tarleton, 69-56. Seattle over Texas Rio Grande, 102-62. Pitt over UNC, 76-67. What a bad loss for North Carolina. Oh, my God. Jacksonville State over Lipscomb, 78-67. Bellarmine over Central Arkansas, 79-69. Little Chicago over Valpo, 71-69. Drake over Evansville, 73-51. Number 24, UConn over Seton Hall, 70-65. Number 2, Auburn over Vandy, 94-80. Number 5, Purdue over Northwestern, 70-64. Number 11, Texas Tech over number 7, Baylor, 83-73. Temple over SMU, 64-57. Morehead State over UT Martin, 68-60. Mexico State over Dixie State, 75-64. Grand Canyon over Cal Baptist, 65-60. Boise over Air Force, 85-59. UNLV over Fresno State, 60-57. Number 1, Gonzaga over Pepperdine, 86-66. Big window tonight, or I should say today, there's matinee games. 12 o'clock, you have Buffalo and Eastern Michigan. My projected line is Buffalo 16, and it's 11. I'm laying the 11. Minnesota, Penn State, 4 o'clock, Big Ten Network. I have Penn State 2.5, and it's 6. I'm going to take Minnesota getting the 6. I'm only going to say the total if I need to pick the total. Towson, UNC, Wilmington, 6 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. I have Wilmington 1.25, and it's Towson 3. I'm giving Wilmington plus the 3 and plus 122 to win. Troy, App State at 6:30. My projection is Troy 5.5, and it's App State 4. Wrong team's favor. Give me Troy plus the 4 and plus 146 to win outright. 7 o'clock, ESPNU, Austin Peay, number 21, Murray State. My projection is Murray by 19 3/4. And it's 18.5, totals 132. I'll take the over. Northern Illinois and Akron. My projections, Akron 20.25, and it's Akron 13.5. I'm going to leave the points. East Carolina, South Florida. My projection is East Carolina by 3/4. And we got here South Florida 1.5, total 129.5. I have to take the over. Wichita State, Cincinnati on ESPN2. My projection, Cincinnati by 3.25. And it's 2 and 136.5. I'll take the under. Middle Tennessee and FIU. My projection is FIU 1.5. And it's Middle Tennessee 3.5, total 140.5. Taking FIU plus 3.5 and plus 155 to win. Old Dominion, Marshall. My projections, Marshall 4, and it's 1.5, 145.5. I'll lay the points of Marshall. North Texas, FAU. My projection is FAU as a 5.5 point underdog. And on FanDuel, we got here 2.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5. LIU and St. Fran, PA. My projection is LIU by 8. and it's 1.5. I'll lay the points. Wagner Sack Hart. My projection's Wagner 16, and we got 8.5. I'm laying the points. St. Francis, Brooklyn, and Mount St. Mary's. My projection's Mount St. Mary's 15. And Mount St. Mary games never appear on FanDuel for some reason. And 6 and 127. I'm gonna lay the 6 with Mount St. Mary's. Fairleigh Dickinson and Merrimack. My projection's Merrimack 11.5. And it's 7.5. I'm laying the points. Central Connecticut Bryant. My projection's Bryant 24. And we got here 12.5. And we'll lay the points. UIC and Youngstown State. My projection's Youngstown 9. And it's 5.5. I'm laying the points. IUPUI and Robert Morris. I have Robert by 10. And it's 14.5. I'm taking IUPUI in the points. Georgia Southern and Georgia State. My projection State by 19. And it's 10.5. I'm laying the points. South Alabama and Coastal Carolina. My projection's South Alabama 3.5. And it's 1.5. I'm laying the points. Greensboro, Chattanooga. My projection is Chattanooga 15 3/4. And 8.5. I'm laying the points. Drexel and William and Mary. My projection is Drexel 14 1/4 and 7.5. I'm laying the points. Delaware, Alon. My projection's Delaware 12 3/4. And we got 3.5. I'm laying the points. JMU Charleston. My projection is JMU by 1/4. And it's Charleston 6.5 total 155.5. I'm taking JMU plus 6.5 and plus 220 to win. ESPN, Michigan, Iowa. My projection is Michigan 1.5, amazingly enough. And it's Iowa by 5, total 150.5. I'm taking Michigan plus 5 and plus 180 to win outright. 7:30, Pac-12 Network. Oregon State at number 3, Arizona. My projection is Arizona by a whopping 22 3/4. And it is 24 and 152. I'll take the over, but I don't feel good about it. UTEP and Louisiana Tech. My projection is Tech 16, and it's 9.5. I'm laying the points. App Christian, Sam Houston. My projection is App Christian by 4.5. And Sam Houston 1.5 total 136. I'm taking App Christian plus 1.5 and plus 106 outright. Louisiana and UL Monroe. My projection is Louisiana by 10.5, and it's 3.5. I'm laying the points. 8 o'clock Eastern, Illinois and Belmont. My projection is Belmont 29.5. And we got 27.5 and 135.5. I'm laying the points. UTSA and Southern Miss. My projection's a pick'em. And it's Southern Miss 2.5 total 135.5. I'm taking UTSA in the points. And I don't know if they'll win outright. Maybe they will. Rice, UAB. My projection's UAB by 13.5. And it's 13.5 and 150.5. I'll take the over. Charlotte and Western Kentucky. My projection is Western by 8.5. By the way, this game's on CBS Sports Network. And we got 8.5 and 141.5. I'll take the over. McNeese Nichols. My projection is Nichols 18.5. And it's 9.5. I'm laying the points. Little Rock Arlington. My projection's Arlington 2.5. And it's 10.5 and 132.5. I'll take Little Rock plus the 10.5. That's way too high. Arkansas State and Texas State. My projection is Texas State by 8, and it's 5.5. I'll lay the points. Denver and Omaha. My projection is Omaha by a quarter. And it is Denver 1.5, total 148.5. I'll take Omaha plus 1.5 and plus 108 to win outright. Wait, is that right? Yeah. No. Never mind. I'll take the under. It's too close. I just did the math there. UMKC and North Dakota. My projection is UMKC by 8 3/4. And it's 4.5 and 140.5. I'll lay the points. St. Thomas and South Dakota. My projection, South Dakota 17.5, and it is 10.5. I'm laying the points. Western Illinois and South Dakota State. My projection, South Dakota State by 15.5. And we got 13.5. I'm laying the points. Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. My projection is North Dakota State by 5.25. And it's 1.5. I'll lay the points. VMI Sanford. My projection is Sanford 2. And it is 2.5 and 157.5. I'll take the under. That's a high total. 8:30 Southeast Missouri State and Tennessee Tech. My projection is Southeast Missouri by 4 3/4. And it's Tennessee Tech 3.5, total 152.5. I'm taking Southeast Missouri State plus 3.5 and plus 155 straight up. Edwardsville, Tennessee State. My projection is State by 7 3/4. And it's 4.5. I'll lay the points. Southeast Louisiana and A&M Corpus Christi. My projection is Southeast Louisiana by 1 1/4. And it's Corpus Christi 4.5. I'm taking Louisiana plus the points and plus 184 outright. Northwestern State and Incarnate Word. My projection is Northwestern State by 5 3/4. And it's Incarnate Word 1.5, total 148.5. I'll take Northwestern State plus 1.5 and minus 110 outright. This is essentially a pick 'em from a money line standpoint. 9 o'clock ESPN 2 UCF at number 14 Houston. My projection is Houston by 13 3/4, and it's 13.5 and 136.5. I'll take the over. Colorado State and New Mexico, Fox Sports 1. My projection is Colorado State by 19 1/4, and it's 7.5. I'll lay the points. Oregon, Arizona State on ESPN. My projection is Oregon by 10. This is probably Dave Pasch, Bill Walton, and it's 4.5. I'll lay the points. Sacramento State and Weber State. My projection is Weber by 19.5, and it's 15.5. I'll lay the points. Northern Colorado and Idaho State. My projection is Northern Colorado by 7, and it's 7.5 and 145.5. I'll take the over. Montana and Idaho. My projection is Montana 13, and it's 6.5. I'll lay the points. Montana State and Eastern Washington. My projection is Montana State by 8, and it's 2.5. I'll lay the points. Longwood High Point on ESPNU. My projection is Longwood by 11.5, and we got 3.5. I'll lay the points. 9:30 Pac-12 Network, Colorado, Cal. My projection is Colorado by 8 3/4, and it's 2. I'll lay the 2. 10 o'clock San Francisco St. Mary's. My projection is St. Mary's 7.5, and it's 2.5. I'll lay the points. Creighton DePaul. My projection is Creighton 5.5. And it's DePaul 2.5. Wrong. Oh my God, that's a disgrace to DePaul's favor. Giving Creighton plus 2.5 and plus 116 outright. Cal State Bakersfield and UC Riverside. My projection is Riverside 11.5. And we got 7.5, 124.5. I'll lay the points. Hawaii and UC San Diego. My projection is Hawaii 7.5. And it's 2.5. I'll lay the points. Long Beach State and Cal State Northridge. My projection is Long Beach by 7. And it's 5.5. And the total is 149.5. I'll take the over. Cal State Fullerton and UC Santa Barbara. My projection is Barbara 8.5. And it's 5.5. I'll lay the points. Northern Arizona and Portland State. My projection is Portland State by 5. And 6.5 and 143.5. I'll take the over. San Diego and Portland. My projection is Portland by 0.5. And it's 2.5 and 136.5. I hate that Portland's favored. I was excited to take them as a dog. But San Diego's the dog here. And I'll take them plus 2.5. I don't know if they'll win, though. Santa Clara and Loyola Marymount. My projection's Marymount 1.5. Oh, this is the one I was excited about. And Santa Clara by 5, total 146. I'll take Loyola plus the 5 and plus 172 outright. Next up is 11 o'clock. Wazoo and number 13 UCLA on Fox Sports. One of my projections, UCLA 15.5. And 9.5. I'll lay the points. Utah Stanford on ESPNU. My projection Stanford 10.25. And it's 4. I'll lay the 4. Washington USC. Number 17 USC 11:30. Pac-12 Network. My projection is USC by 20. And it's 11.5. I'll lay the points. And then midnight, you have Nevada, San Jose State. My projection, San Jose State Nevada by 13.75, and it's 8. I'll lay the 8 with Nevada. All right, now I'm going to do NFL Power Rankings. I haven't done them in a while. This is going to be the ones going into the offseason. So this was a tough one to do. Number 32 Houston Texans. I still think this is the worst roster in the league. They had a coaching change. Now Lovie Smith's their new coach. 31 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a coaching change. They hired Doug Peterson. And now that I feel like that's going to be the cliche pick to potentially win the AFC South and be the Bengals of the series without the Super Bowl appearance. Number 30 is the New York Football Jets. The roster's terrible. Zach Wilson showed some promise. We'll see if Robert Saleh's the real deal or not. 29 is the New York Football Giants. New coach in Brian DeBall. Daniel Jones is still the quarterback. We'll see what they do there. 28 is the Detroit Lions. They kind of were feisty at the end of the season, but they have a ton of holes on the roster. 27 is the Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Smith going into year 2. This team's just a mess, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Matt Ryan's still there. 26 is the Carolina Panthers. They have quarterback issues. Matt Rule feels like the first coach fired going into next year. Number 25 is the Washington Commanders. Yes, the Commanders is the new name. I don't really love the name per se. I thought there were better options on the floor. But the question for them is Taylor Heineke the guy going forward? 24 to Miami Dolphins. They stupidly fired Brian Flores. And now they have the 49ers offensive coordinator as their new coach. Mike McDaniel. Number 23 is the Chicago Bears. They also have a new head coach, Matt Eberflus. They got Justin Fields in place. We'll see what they do this offseason. They don't have their first-round pick, and I understand trading up for Fields and how important that was, but right now that does not look good because that's a team that's rebuilding still. And the Giants, another team that's rebuilding, has their first-round pick. Number 22, the Seattle Seahawks. They're a team that's in turmoil right now with the situation of Russell Wilson, and we don't know what's going on there. And Pete Carroll's still the coach. 21 is the Denver Broncos. They also have a new head coach in Nathaniel Hackett, and I liked that hire as well. Number 20 is the Minnesota Vikings. Another new coach, Kevin O'Connell. Great hire. And I really think that that's a bounce-back team for 2022. Number 19 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, they're this low, and that's because of Tom Brady no longer on the roster for the time being, I guess, or announcing his retirement. But this is solely because of Tom Brady. And this team was mediocre without Tom Brady, and they're going to be back to where they were if Tom Brady is indeed retired. And stays indeed retired, I should say. 18, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a wild card, in my opinion, as well as the Bucs. We don't know who's going to be the quarterback, and that's why they're this low. Or else, if you knew who their quarterback was going to be, they'd be much higher on the list, maybe even top 10. Number 17 is the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a popular bounce-back pick going into next year because of all the injuries they had. But everybody forgets that John Harbaugh went for 2 twice, and that's why they lost 2 games. And if it wasn't for that, they'd be in the playoffs instead of the Steelers, and they would have been the ones blown out by the Chiefs in the first round. Number 16, the Cleveland Browns. This is another mess of a team. Another hot seat coach is going to be Kevin Stefanski in my mind. And the question is Baker Mayfield still going to be there? That's why they're pretty low. 15 is the Las Vegas Raiders. They had a great season. Derek Carr looks like he's going to get paid. And the funny thing is you heard all the rumors about them trying to upgrade a quarterback. That's because John Gruden and Mike Maycock didn't like Derek Carr. They pretended that they did, but they didn't. And now you're hearing rumors that they're going to pay Derek Carr. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think they should pay Derek Carr that much money. I pay him what he's worth. And I think that he's worth less than Dak Prescott and those guys. Number 14, the Arizona Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals are a team in disarray a little bit. They're this high because right now Kyler Murray's still on the roster. Number 13 is the Philadelphia Eagles. First-round playoff appearance this past year. Nick Sirianni did a wonderful job with the Eagles. He had the best coaching job in the NFC East this past season, and you could argue they had the best season in the NFC East as well. Despite their playoff outcome. Number 12 is Tennessee Titans. They're getting Henry back for a full year. We'll see if they upgrade over Ryan Tannehill in the offseason or not. And Mike Vrabel was the coach of the year, and that's something I forgot to talk about when I went over the NFL awards the other day. And that was a well-deserving award, getting the 1 seed without their best player. Pretty impressive. Number 11 is the New Orleans Saints. They're this high because they have a good roster, but they should be a little lower because of the uncertainty at the quarterback position and some free agents they have. So maybe I overranked the Saints. And plus they have a new coach in Dennis Allen. But I don't know why I had them this high. But they shouldn't have been this high. It's because of their roster. They should really be a little further down. And I think the Steelers should be a little further up. And maybe even the Bucs a little bit too. Number 10 is the Indianapolis Colts. They didn't make the playoffs last year. But that was because Carson Wentz shat his pants in the last game of the season. Inexplicably against the Jaguars. But he was coming off COVID, and that was the perceived excuse there with Wentz and his struggles, and now they want to cut Carson Wentz, it sounds like. So a little bit uncertainty with the Colts. They're another, like, a wild card type of team. Number 9 is New England Patriots. Good year for them this past season. We'll see if they build on that. They should be. But the problem is that Josh Allen's not on their team. Number 8 is Los Angeles Chargers. This is the best team to miss the playoffs. Easily. In my mind, Justin Herbert, I think, is amazing. But the Chargers are still the Chargers. Like, they blow games left and right. It doesn't matter who the coach and the quarterback are. They're the Chargers. That's their problem. Number 7 is the Green Bay Packers. They're this high because, let's face it, who's still on their roster? Aaron Rodgers. Number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. Disappointing finish to their season. Mike McCarthy's another hot seat guy going into next season. Their season, I think, was a failure last year, as we talked about on the podcast, when they got eliminated. And it's going to be interesting to see if they make any minor changes to their roster. But they should still be a good team, regardless of who the head coach is. Number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals, your Super Bowl runners-up. They're not in the top 2 because I felt they were lucky to be in the Super Bowl because Mahomes shit his pants in the second half of that game, and quite frankly, the Bills shit the bed defensively to let the Chiefs win that game in overtime in the divisional round. So in theory, the Bills probably should have been there, or you could argue the Chiefs, either or. But they have holes on their roster that they have to address. And a quick little side tangent. There's this narrative going around that Sean Taylor's not a good coach, and it's Burrow. Sean Taylor, I think, did a fantastic job this year coaching. And you could argue he should have won Coach of the Year over Mike Vrabel. But Zach Taylor, I think, is being disrespected after the Super Bowl loss. Number 4, the 49ers of San Francisco. Everyone talks about how Zach Taylor isn't that good of a coach. Meanwhile, Kyle Shanahan's record is still sub 500 as an NFL head coach. But guess what? He has a good team, and that's why they're number 4. And we'll see if Jimmy Garoppolo will still be their quarterback or not. And regardless of the quarterback situation, this is going to be a good team. Unless if Trey Lance is their quarterback next year. Because he's not ready. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. They should have been AFC champions, should have been Super Bowl champions, potentially. But Josh Allen's amazing. They have holes to address on defense. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. The big what if is people think that Patrick Mahomes got concussed in that Bengals game, but we don't know. And now the question for the Chiefs is what changes do they make this offseason with their team? And number 1, the Los Angeles Rams. They belong here. They're the best team in football. They won the Super Bowl. It wasn't a pretty game, but they still found the way to win the Super Bowl. They're number 1. They have the best roster. The rock stars were rock stars, and they're Super Bowl champions now. So they belong in that top spot on the final power rankings list of the 2021 NFL season. All right, quick round of news and notes for today. So Boone's Highland has been named an injury replacement in the Rising Stars game. So that's good for Bones Highland. He's been a good rookie for Denver. Olympics news, Kamila Valieva fails to medal in women's figure skating after being allowed to skate despite a failed drug test. Well, that's karma right there. She fails to place, and she shouldn't have been competing anyway. Sean McVay's fiance clears rumors as she shuts down any retirement talk with IG message. Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp honors Kobe Bryant while wearing his jersey at the Rams parade. Kobe is a part of this. And I love that these athletes, and I know it's going to keep going forward because that's what a great guy Kobe was. And everybody loved him. I've said this several times on the podcast. Kobe was one of my favorite athletes ever, too. As much as a Knicks fan, I don't like the Lakers, but I love Kobe Bryant, always will. And it's just unfortunate that he's no longer with us. Sean McVay to Aaron Donald, run it back, as it sounds like they could stick around to go for the repeat, which they got to pay Aaron Donald. There's a lot of rumors that they have to make him the highest paid defensive player in order for him to come back and not retire. Les Snead had the best shirt of the Super Bowl parade. F them picks. That is so funny because he traded so many draft picks for the guys on their team. And it worked. And I don't blame Les Snead. That was a fabulous shirt. Very good troll job there. Dallas Cowboys cheerleader allegations as the Cowboys paid $2.4 million settlement after 4 cheerleaders accused team executive of voyeurism during a 2015 event. That's insane. We'll see if there's more to come out from this. So this is not a good look for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. We talked about the Vikings hiring Kevin O'Connell, which I think is a fabulous hire by Minnesota, as I mentioned in the power ranking segment. Kevin Durant trolls Knicks fans after the 28-point comeback. Nets fans are loud in the the Garden tonight. That is embarrassing if you're a Knicks fan. A free agent that passed on you 3 years ago because of how dysfunctional of a mess of a franchise they are goes out and says that. And meanwhile, Kevin Durant shouldn't even be talking because he's injured. And I could just go on and on about the Nets' issues and how Kyrie Irving's not vaccinated and James Harden just got traded, yada, yada. We get it. Ben Simmons hasn't played a game yet, and Kevin Durant's sitting there injured, and Kevin Durant should be responsible for the Nets underachieving too, as much as Kyrie Irving should be the most responsible, and Kevin Durant I think should be equally almost responsible as well. So he had no business doing that, and it's a bad look for the Knicks. It's a bad look for Kevin Durant as well, and it's just terrible. So a couple injuries. We talked about Anthony Davis, but we didn't get into what happened. A lower leg injury. He'll be out through the All-Star break. He won't play in the All-Star game. Same for Chris Paul after injuring his right hand in the game against the Rockets. So I wonder if we're going to have a couple of replacements in the All-Star game, and we'll see. And speaking of Kevin Durant, there's a small chance Durant could play in the first game after the break, but will likely take more time. Draymond Green is expected to return at some point after the All-Star break if he makes progress rehabbing the back injury. Marcus Smart did not play against the Pistons last night. That injury probably cost them the game. I know you could say the same thing about RJ Barrett with the Knicks. But then again, if both teams were healthy, the Nets would have blew out the Knicks. That's just reality of the situation because Kevin Durant's so much better than every player on the Knicks. And so Marcus Smart, that injury probably did cost them that game because that was a close game, but that's still inexcusable to lose that game. And I know that loss and the Memphis losing to Portland last night, those are two inexplicable losses by those two teams, but it was overshadowed because the Knicks blew a 28-point lead to the shorthanded Nets. Zion Williamson could need second surgery as the Pelicans star felt soreness in his foot when he started working out in December. That's a mess. Talk about messes, the Zion situation. The Bulls are to sign Tristan Thompson after he clears waivers. Michigan extends Jim Harbaugh through the 2026 season, so that is a big deal. Good on Michigan for extending their guy after he flirted with going to the NFL. Or back to the NFL, I should say. I got to get through this, though. So, Nationals star Juan Soto turned down a monster contract extension. Apparently, he's shooting for a $500 million contract, which is ridiculous. I love Juan Soto. He's amazing. But who's paying him $500 million? Nobody. And then, of course, Donovan Mitchell's already recruiting him to the Mets, which is stupid. Matt Harvey could face suspension to at least 60 games after testifying to providing drugs in the Tyler Skaggs case, which is really, really crazy of a situation of how this is turning out. So we'll see if Harvey gets suspended or not. So Claude Giroux's in the trade market, and he's planning to meet with Chuck Fletcher about destinations. Jaylen Brown's Kanye meme, as he still thinks he was an all-star snub based on his Instagram story. We'll see if he ends up playing again after all, because Anthony Davis is out and so is Chris Paul. But then again, they'll probably pick 2 players from the West. So we'll see who they pick. LSU and Florida are on Arch Manning's list of potential schools. Sidney Crosby's 500th goal, and Malkin congratulated himself with his assist on it, which is funny. And the contract that Soto rejected was 13 years, $350 million. Jonathan Kuminga will replace Chris DeRate in the Rising Stars game, so that's good for him. We talked about how the Rams might have to pay up for Aaron Donald. Joe Burrow played in the Super Bowl with the MCL sprain, and hopefully he'll recover from that soon. In non-sports news, ex-ABC News colleague accused Chris Cuomo of sexual assault prior to CNN firing. A judge blocked the release of Bob Saget's death records following the family's lawsuit. That's what we talked about yesterday on the show. And then Joe Biden says that there's a very high risk of Russia invasion within several days. So the Russian invasion could very well happen. We'll see about that. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a lot of them I liked, especially in college basketball. There's the one underdog I liked, but I think it's a Vegas nose thing with Creighton. So I'm going to lay a quarter unit on a team that I think is really good. And I believe they'll come out and have a solid performance tonight against their rival. And I think they're going to win a game outright. I'm going to go with an underdog here with Michigan. A quarter unit plus the 5 against Iowa. I think both these teams are really good. And I believe that I really, truly believe that Michigan's going to come out and win this game. So, I'll take Michigan plus the 5 against Iowa is my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for today's show. Tomorrow's going to be fun, recapping everything from tonight, looking ahead to tomorrow and the weekend. And then tonight, I'm going to have Jeff Maglachetti on the show. We'll preview the NASCAR season. We'll talk WNBA offseason and some Rutgers and Seton Hall college hoops and the future of one Tom Brady. So I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.